Hey, I'm here with my friend Katie. She has worked in Bitcoin for a long time. You have mainly focused on helping people find freedom around the world, especially as they flee from oppressive governments and regimes. This is something that we hear about all through Scripture, such as the Israelites in Egypt could not escape from Egypt until God radically removed them. How does Bitcoin relate to political and economic freedom for people around the world? Why should normal Americans, who often kind of talk about freedom but don't have to really think about it all that much in a serious way, how does Bitcoin help people around the world find political freedom?
Yeah, well, for me it was very obvious. I was born and raised in Russia, in the post-Soviet Russia, and in a matter of the first 20 years of my lifetime, I've seen two hyperinflations. I've seen my parents' bank accounts getting shut down or frozen for no reason. And we gave all that control of our finances, all that control of our capital and our money to a third-party provider and gave them the power to shut it down at any point, to freeze our assets. And I like to take that control back over our own finances, and that's how I knew it was only a matter of time that I become a Bitcoiner. As long as, once I learned enough, it clicked right away because I had those experiences. I understand for Americans it's not as obvious because you guys had it good for a very long time. Right. The longer you have it good for, the more you trust the system. But on a long enough horizon, everybody's compromised. So you can't trust the system forever because it is probably not going in the right direction.
You hope that you may not, in some ways, you hope that you don't need Bitcoin, but it is for hard times in hard places, for situations that people have no control over, like you're saying, hyperinflation, things like that, or people that have to flee for somewhere else as a refugee. I know that you have sometimes in your own work, you've been able to pay different people around the world with Bitcoin to work for you who you wouldn't be able to pay otherwise or who don't have financial access.
Yeah, for example, Russia got cut off SWIFT, 4 years ago now, and you literally cannot interact with the financial world outside of Russia right now. So the Iron Curtain is back. They got cut out, so many people lost their jobs because the employers just unable to pay people in Russia. And the only payment rails without borders is Bitcoin.
Right. Okay, so you in your work, you work in kind of help Bitcoin and its intersection with political freedom and financial freedom. But you're also a wife and a mom. Why should moms care about Bitcoin? They say, I'm just busy running around with my kids. I don't think about these things. I don't care. Why should your average normal mom or wife care about this?
Well, to be able to run around with your kids, you need the money that is not going to hyperinflate over time. Inflation is what brought women back to work, what forced them out of the house to begin with. And if you want to have this optionality, to have this choice, to be able to spend time with your kids instead of running in a rat race, we need a money with a limited supply, because otherwise we're working against ourselves, constantly in a rat race on a melting iceberg of our finances that are always running away from us.
Right.
So better money, better limited supply is what's really important for mothers, I believe. And also mothers are the spenders, right? We usually run the household, meaning that 70% of family finances are usually spent by the woman. So we are directly involved with capital and family's budget, so we should care about it.
How do you see people in their 30s and their 40s experiencing and feeling the pain of all these things you're talking about in America?
There were really good times to be able to save and build capital in America, but right now it is nearly impossible, again, because we are in times of really high inflation. So you are in a student debt, you come to the workforce, you realize you're not actually making as much money as you expected, and the life becoming is more and more expensive. And then the rates for your student debts are literally eating away at your not even savings, at your salary. So you're just unable to build wealth completely. And even if you are able to save in US dollars, again, you're on a melting iceberg. And
inflated away from under you.
Exactly.
And Bitcoin, this is the great thing about Bitcoin is that it can't be inflated into the future forever and ever and ever.
Yeah, exactly. And then just it's very important to set your principles straight early on, because like Bitcoin as a deflationary money, it literally makes you a better human in a way that you know that you better save today for a future tomorrow. Every dollar you spend today is basically $10 you spend tomorrow. So you're more maybe wise with your money.
Right, you in this kind of biblical model of thinking and living for the long term and not for just right now, or consuming and spending everything you can, which is tragically what happens in a system where people's money is inflating, because it's stupid not to. You have to spend it right away.
You have to spend it right away, yeah. And me coming again from a post-Soviet country, I definitely had this trait of like spend, because tomorrow your assets might be frozen. And because we didn't have access to goods and services for so long, right? Like buying furniture used to be a really hard thing to do. You would have to literally sit in line, like physically sit in line for 4 months every day. Otherwise you lose your spot in line, you won't be able to buy the couch. So now, the moment we get the money, we want those shiny things that we never had access to. It's like a hunger. And it is in our DNA. Again, our parents were starving, weren't able to buy things that they needed. So we're like, you know, like, it's kind of a stereotype, but Russian women like shiny things. So me becoming a Bitcoiner kind of treated that thing in me, but I still see it even in my sister. Like, we still have this hunger. So Bitcoin kind of solves that for you because you set your priorities straight.
Right, great. Well, thank you very much, Katie. Thanks for helping us.
Thank you.